Before we begin, any questions from the last session? Harry, you have anything? All good? Okay, good to hear. So today we'll do is, how do we choose? And why do we choose? Why do you think we choose? Yes, go ahead.
Because we have a preference.
Yeah, there's always preference, but why do we choose? What makes us choose? Or what do we choose? So let's start with what do we choose? Yes, Bobby.
I think it is because of our habits, your sankhāras.
No, I'm talking about sankhāra only. This choice is sankhāra anyway. So, but why do we do that?
Because we have done that again and again, and it may become our habit. So we are very selective in or we all behave in certain way. In any being or anybody you observe, there is a pattern developing. This pattern is almost the same, unless we are a mindful practitioner. It is changing in a different direction, but this pattern is there. So it is happening because of that sankhāras or whatever habit or pattern. It is keep going like that.
That's correct, but why?
Effect or condition.
So what is the cause and what is the effect?
Avidya pratyaya sankhāra.
What is the cause for avidya?
That is the last question you should ask. That's what Buddha says. Or even in that Chula Vedana Sutta. Going too much.
Going beyond. No, he is asking not about this. He is asking about counter sign of Nibbana. He is not talking about avidya at all.
But avidya and this vijnana, this keep on circulating. That's what I remember in one of the.
No, that's correct. No, that's correct. I agreed. But why? We are still not gone to that avidya. It's a long way to go.
So at present, Vilashi, we only know that, there is a habit or pattern developing, And now with all this Dhamma teachings, whatever we are hearing, only way is to untie that or, get relief from it. But why it is happening, we have to really find out with wisdom, why it is happening. But there is, as far as avidya and the sankhāra, that is only I know. I don't know beyond that.
One question, Bobby, what's the difference between Kerala and Australia?
There is, in one way we can say there is not much difference, but then another way we can say there is a lot of difference.
Like,
so the way there is difference is that, so it is all these elements and, perception, the panja, all these things are, that way it is the same. But then when we say that, the Kerala as a concept, there is this type of people are there, this type of trees are there, this type of, So as such, Kerala is not existing. But if you say how to define Kerala, then we can go into these details and say that, these people look certain way, this geography is different, and if there is a coastal thing. But when you say that, in the ultimate sense, these are all 5 elements, working in different ways. This Panja Kandas, all these things are in different ways it is working.
Okay, good answer. Yes, Mrityunjay, go ahead.
This is the sankhāra is based on how we this Vedana and perception.
Good, nice answer. But yeah, it could have been better. Almost there, but better.
Yep.
Better than what Bobby explained. Good. But still,
If Vedana is neutral and Sankhāra is anicca, this perception is anicca, Sankhāra becomes samatha.
No, that whatever I said, you are repeating. Don't tell me that. I'm asking you, why there is choices? Why do you choose?
Because the perception has gone wrong.
No, perception has not gone wrong. See, tell me one thing. Yesterday you came to my house. You mean to say the perception went wrong and hence you came to my house? No, that's not the right answer. Okay, the answer is perception. Yes, go ahead. Yes, there you go ahead. What's that? No. Yeah, Bobby, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say the same thing what Harry said now. We select the feelings. We want to have a certain type of feelings.
Fine, if feelings comes, I don't deny. So the cause for perception, cause for choice, you choose based upon what you perceive to be real.
Yeah.
That's
the
it.
perception is already developed. Yeah, perception is already developed, and we, in my mind, we know that if we choose this, we will get this type of feeling.
Yes. So the thing is, you perceive what you feel. You feel what you perceive, but the perception is the strongest. That's fixed. Okay, so for me to migrate from one country to another country, there is a perception which is fixed. And I do a choice. For me to change from one company to another company, there's a perception which is fixed. That company is good. Maybe the pay is good, or the opportunity is good, the work is good, culture is good, something is good. That's what I perceive it to be real. And hence, now I can join that company. And another thing, it's not only fixed, it's existing. Otherwise, you can't choose. So it is, conventional reality is there. So Bobby, you wanted to bring out a question yesterday, right? So I think before I move into this sankhāra business, why don't you bring that question?
Okay. Yeah, Vilashi, last few days he was talking about perception and Vedana. So when I was meditating, this thought came in me that, he was telling that this perception has different layers. There is, I think, answering to Archana or something, she was saying that perception has a lot of layers. So then when I meditate, and he also said that this perception feeds the Vedana, and the Vedana feeds the perception. These keep on playing each other, it is actually happening each other. But then I have a thought, when you're actually meditating on this Volitions, cause and effect, and other things what Buddha said, the honeyboard discourse, they are going to the as you always say, inner sankati also, and then this pacha Vedana, and then because of that Vedana, a thought arises, and then it is like going into Pabanja, the proliferation, and all these things are happening. So then I was thinking that then again this thought, whatever this proliferation, then again that Vedana happens again, a different feeling because we are thinking. So that time this thought is becoming asa for that, or is it what what Pasa is happening that time, because the feelings is continuously changing with what you're thinking. And then also I was asking that because this thought, the initial perception of, we are thinking about somebody, or, if a hurtful feeling or something. Now that time, this perception, when you are meditating, you can really know that, this is changing. These thoughts are changing because of the continuity of that perception. We feel that this has a meaning. In the present, there is no meaning to it. But then if you think about the other person also, he's also perceiving something. That's why he's talking like this. So I was asking this question to Vilasji, that because in our own experience, this thought itself, this perception which is changing, is that feeding the Vedana again? In that case, that person is the Pasa or the contact. So we had a discussion about that, So
Okay, so to answer to that question, we had a long discussion, so I'll cut that short, and then it shouldn't be so long. That contact, for anything to get a contact, it should have some description. Otherwise, there can't be any contact. Let's say I am at this company. If I just say this company, there is no contact. What is this company? So then the question comes, what is this company? No, that is that company. And then a person will ask, what is that company? No, which is not the other company. But I don't want to tell the name of the company. So then no contact happens. After some time, you give up. I'm saying this, that, and other. So I can't make out. So then I will tell my friend, or the friend will tell me, oh, Vilas, I don't think so. You would like to tell me your company name. Then I say, yes. Ends. So no contact happened. Even with language. So first thing we need to know is that to have something, you need to have a language. Without language, you can't have a contact. You need to say what it is, and you need to say what object is said as what. Then there's a contact. Like in the example, I have a fight with my wife. So there are two things which can be seen, fight and wife. So it should be something called wife in the first place to have a fight. Otherwise, there's no fight without the wife. So when I say I had a fight with my wife, it means that there is a wife already, which is fixed, on which I can fight. Clear? This fight is a constant. It doesn't change. Because if you say fight, everybody understands it's a conflict. And if you say conflict, everybody understands it is fighting. Or whatever. It's argument. All of that is part of conflict. So when I say I'm conflicted, it means that I'm having some bad thing happening in my life. Instead of explaining so much, I'll say I'm in a conflicted situation. Then the person will understand. So there is this language, and you use that language to express what emotion you want to pass it on to the other person. Because emotion by direct cannot be passed. It has to be passed through language or by body contact. There are only two ways you can pass your emotion. So now what happens? Like what Bobby is asking me or saying to me, there are layers of perceptions depending upon what I want to express. But irrespective of that, the feeling, perception, and this sankhāra, what I'm talking about, this choosing or volitions, is nothing but a contact on something. So you require a sense base and a sense object on which the consciousness is going to come and land. So now, when I see Bobby, the feeling of Bobby, the perception of Bobby, the intention or the volition of being with Bobby is dependent on the experience or the explanation of what is Bobby. If Bobby has no explanation and there's nothing to be contacted. So what we do when we talk about a person, we give a small write-up. So let's say I want to give a talk, and then somebody comes to me and say that, sir, I want you to talk on this, but we want your introduction. So when I meet someone, I'm going to introduce. So then I'm going to say, I'm Vilas, I'm working with so-and-so for last so many years, and I'm doing this and doing this. See, this one, if you miss it, there's no contact. Supposing somebody landed later when I introduced, that person is seeing me and I'm seeing him, there's no contact. I'm seeing and he's seeing. So then after a while, he will say, can I know your name, please? And then I say, I'll just sit like this, and then no name. Then he might think that I'm deaf or something like that. Right? Because there's no contact. As long as there's no contact, there can't be any feeling. As long as there is no feeling, there's no perception. As long as there is no perception and feeling, there is nothing to have a volition. You got the point? Wait a second, Ari. So now I have something striking in front of me. The striking can be an object. That object has to be defined. If that just a striking is there and no description of that object is there, there can't be any contact. If only the description is there and that article or that item itself is not there, there can't be any contact. Let's say there is Sydney as a description, but I have never seen Sydney. So I have no idea. I've seen Dallas. I've landed in Dallas, Fort Worth, but I've never gone out of Dallas. I just moved from one plane to another plane. No contact. I can't even say I went to Dallas International Airport. But I just landed and flew from there. But what if I land in Dallas and then I go around Dallas and then there's a description of Dallas, and that makes sense. In the same way about Sydney or about any other place. In the same way of any other person. So all objects require descriptions. And when you describe, and when you show that object, and then the consciousness lands on that, connecting the object and the subject. Subject as in eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, and mind, and then these objects. Objects are totally different. The subject is totally different. The experience, what you're getting, is subjective experience because of consciousness. So it just connects two things, two unrelated things, as though they are related. Okay. So when I say I have fight with my wife, the wife is an unrelated thing. There's no wife. You just see a human body, max, but there's no wife in the body. It's just a body. Because my wife's mother will not call that body as wife. She will recognize it as daughter, while I recognize as a wife. So the same body here is referred to different things because of error in perception. It's a perceiving error. Why it happened? Because of the contact. The contact from object to the subject, when it became an object, the subjective experience is, instead of seeing the object as just a body, is seen as wife. So the body is gone, wife remains with that body. And the same thing with the employee. So when the company is there, when he swipes in the card, it's just a human being swiping the card, but then is treated as an employee. And the employee feels himself as an employee as though he has got nothing to do with the employee except that he is working there as an employment. Right? But he thinks he's an employee. Or she thinks. And not only she thinks as an employee, he or she thinks as an whatever designation. Let's say software engineer or a principal software engineer or manager or this or that or whatever that is. So whatever role has been given, that perception makes him feel that he is that person. So when an appraisal is done, it's the role which is getting appraised, but he feels he is getting appraised, which adds more complexity to the conscious experience now. Consciously, he's experiencing the role. See, today I'm on this role, and tomorrow I might be some other role. Now, this role and that role are just roles. You just get it, you want to do it, you do it, you can't do it, don't do it, and then either you quit or they throw you out, and that's only end result of it. So I go to my manager and say, look, I can't do this role, and she says that, no, you have to do this role, and say, okay, I'm dropping my paper, and you say, okay, fine, no worries, you want to resign, do it, and I just resign and walk away, and that's it, over. Subject 1. Subject 2 is that my manager calls me and says that, Vilas, we have been looking at your performance is dipping every day. Yeah, even I think so. But the role what you're given is bullshit. And he says, don't use bad words here. So we don't like this bullshit business. But I don't think so. You have the skill to deliver. I say, I have all the skill, but I don't want to deliver. And then we fight. And then she says, I'm terminating you. And say, okay, terminate. And then just smile and come on. Right? It's a perception. Perception of what? Perception of my role. It's just a perception. You can change the perception to whatever you want. Now I'm an employee, so then I resign and I become an ex-employee. And what's the X? I don't know. It's just called X. So ex-wife and ex-husband and like that ex-employee. Okay, so this, if you see, is not happening within you. It's happening outside of you. However, you become a target to it because you take it as yours. So when you take it as yours, or when I take it as mine, so when I go to my manager, I could have just said, look, this role is not interesting to me. And she would say, you know what, there are no other roles for you. Yeah, that's what I think. So what do you suggest? I'm not really interested in this. And she would say, okay, I don't know how to help you. So can I help myself? Yes. Can I resign and leave? If you wish. Yeah, I think so. I'll do that. I'm tired of this role. I'm not feeling interested. I'm dragging my body to the office and dragging my body out of the office, which makes no sense. I said, okay, please. So I immediately resign. Once I resign, the pain is gone. Why? The change of perception. Nothing has changed actually between the resignation and designation. Two things. It has remained the same. You designate yourself or you resignate yourself. So I don't want it is a resignation. I want it is a designation. And now this designation is causing me umpteen problems because I want to retain the designation on my on my terms, and making it on my terms is sankhāra. It should be my terms. I want the job, but at my terms, not your terms. You can tell me whatever you want, but it has to be my terms. That's sankhāra. That's actual volitions. You want it in this way. So if the object is not there, that is, if the role is not there, as a principal software engineer, or as an architect, or as manager, or as whatever, will there be an experience of principal software engineer or architect or whatever at all? No, because there's no contact. So neither the role exists, that means neither the subject exists, not the object exists. Object as in the principal software engineer and the subject as in the person taking on that role. So both are not there. So what happens? There's nothing that is experienced. Clear? Yes, Bobby, you have raised a hand. Maybe you wanted to ask me something or by mistake it is raised.
Maybe by mistake, maybe my previous.
Yes, sir, you wanted to ask me. You've been showing like this. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's a small thing. I was just thinking in the example you gave, even that person didn't know your name. In his mind, he could have created perception of you. Hence, there could be a contact already.
Yeah, he could. He might think that I'm dumb. That's actually a perception. Oh, first I thought had no ear, and I asked him, "What's your name?" Sitting like this, that means he's dumb, maybe.
But
Yes.
for the very least, he could see an Indian. That's a contact there. That is.
If he has seen Indian,
Yeah, if he has, yeah.
like in the case of Shaniel, okay, he's from Fiji Island. I've never seen Fiji in my life. Okay, I don't know how to get there as well. But people say it looks like India, but I have never seen Fiji. So can I know, when I met Shaniel, did I know that he is from Fiji? I thought by this name, Dio means Punjabi. So I thought he's an Indian. But he said, I'm a Fijian. Okay, I don't know. So I can't make out. That's a wrong perception. This is like Shaniel, and the name Shaniel might be something else, but then I thought he's an Indian. His full name is funny. Shaniel Nischal, which is an Indian name. Dio is a Punjabi. So when I saw his name, I felt he is in Punjabi. I would have told him Punjabi da Munda. Then I don't think so what he would have said. But he doesn't know any Indian languages. Even though in Fiji they speak Hindi. One of the languages they speak in Fiji is Hindi. Okay, anyway, coming back to this point is that, have I seen Fijian? Except for Shaniel, nobody else. Oh yes, I and Marin met one Fijian while we were in Sunshine Coast. And that's another Fijian. And he looked exactly like an Indian. And I started speaking Hindi. They said, no, I don't know Hindi much. I'm a Fijian. I said, oh, okay, you're Fijian. Okay. That might not happen. If he has not seen an Indian, I have never seen a Fijian, so I won't even have a perception of how Fijian looks. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess you're seeing whatever you see, right? It's in your mind. So, I mean, whether it's true or not, it's falsy or not, it doesn't matter.
No, you'll only see what you can perceive out of it. You can't see something which you can't perceive. So if you have seen earlier an Indian, and then you would, like, if I know Bobby, the way he speaks his English is 100% I can make out that he's from Kerala. Okay, he is a typical accent, so I can make out. Oh, he's a Mallu Keralite, right? So that I can make out because of perception, how they speak, and then we have heard speaking, and then I can say, this is how it is. So now, between the subject and object, the conscious experience which came to me as not as Bobby, but he is a Malayali, and that's a conscious experience. So the perception is not as a human being. The perception here, what I got, he's a Keralite. Yes, go ahead.
But for very least, everyone can.
You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. But for the very least, everyone can see male and female. That immediately comes. So that contact will.
That is also perception. That's not true either. That's still a wrong perception. There is no male and a female at all.
Right. I mean, the contact would have happened for them because they would have perceived immediately.
No, wait a second. When the baby is born, okay, it has no sex. You define the sex. Right? And then you call this is male and this is female. Even on a socket and a plug, right? And then you say, this is a male socket and this is a female connector and a male connector. Why do you do that? is just to identify, just to make sure that male and female are two things which are definable, right? It's a definable thing. If you ask someone that is somebody is a true female, and the answer is no. Somebody is a absolute male, and the answer is no. Like Lata is sitting here, some years ago, I should say that liberation is not there for females. And then she got literally wild and she had a very bad time, okay, because of my misunderstanding. Now, I know for sure that there's nothing called as male and female. In 2018, she asked me this question, and I had made her cry actually, that, oh, females don't get liberated. And she was saying, oh my goodness, what is he saying? But anyway, the perception, the wrong perception picked up is that you read somewhere, okay, which defines that, okay, this is not possible and that's not possible. And you make an assessment out of it as though it is true, because that's an error of perception. And that makes you feel that it is 100% legitimately true. Let's say my teacher has told me that females cannot get liberation, and I just take his perception to be my perception and make it true. So when I tell to someone, like what I told Lata, then she would say, oh, who told you this? I say, my teacher. If you have a problem, talk to my teacher. And then my perception remains, right? Because my teacher has said, and I can always go back. What if I don't have any teacher to fall back upon, and I say, oh, there's no one, there's me. So then she can come back and say, how can you say females don't get liberation? And I have no answer to it. Because my perception is my perception. How to prove it? So basically, even the sex of male and female is a perception. It's not real. Yes, right.
Yeah, I didn't mean it's real. I just meant from the example you gave of you giving an intro talk,
absolutely.
The other person would have made it. Yeah,
no. Why I'm stopping you there is that you need to define what's a female. It's you are basically identifying someone as a female based upon the attributes, not based upon truly the person is a female. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this I can experience quite a bit these days because LGBT is so much prevalent here. So every person could look very femaly but could be a male. So I have to spend a lot of effort to distinguish so I can see the process of perception these days.
Yeah. So now what happens here is that my perception is that I've been told that somebody having breast means female, but I have a friend who has a male breast which looks like female, and then he had to go to the doctor to find out what to do with that because he's having huge breasts. And then it was looking pretty odd that he looks male in some sense, but he looks female in another sense. And it means the perception is now crossed. It means I don't know how to talk to him. Should I say he or she, or what should I say? So he used to have a really hard time. This is long years ago. And then we used to rag him, basically. Okay. And we should tell him, please don't take out the shirt. It looks pretty odd to us. That's the only thing. You can do whatever you want, but don't take the shirt off. We are finding it really tough. And people used to stare at him like this. Okay. So it's a medical condition, but then nobody knows it's a medical condition or which a condition because we've been told, you know by inference that this kind of body means female and this kind of body means male. And when you make such a segregation, you're perceiving it to be real. So now the consciousness will go on that object and make the experience possible as female and male. So when you have a female, you should name a person more feminine. So you get all the names which are feminine. And then when it is masculine, you put names which looks masculine. So then you divide it like this. So the consciousness now divides itself into two parts. One is a female part and one a male part. So now it has crossed over like this. to be standing independent, real, even though it's a body which is male and a female. Right? And body can be in various. So when I say it is intersexual, as in one of the LGBTQ thing, intersexual, they can have different organs appearing in different places. And then how do you address them? So without a language and without the attributes for that language, you really cannot have any conscious experience. So the objective here is to cut this symbolic representation. And then there are no choices to be made. That's the end of suffering. Very simple. So you want to attain Nibbana, just don't identify with anything. Right? So now husband and wife, do they really exist? And the answer is no. They exist in the name, meaning they exist in definition. Like an employee and employer is existing in definition. So when I want to cut the husband and wife, they can be cut in two ways. One is by death, one is by divorce. How can an employee and employer cut? The employee can cut out of employment by resigning, and the employer can cut the employee by terminating. Both would mean the same thing, but termination is slightly harsher. It is a punishment given to the employee for doing some stupid thing which he shouldn't have done it in the first place. And then employee resigning means that is putting to a company saying that, look, I'm no longer interested in working here. Please relieve me. Relieve? You already relieved. Every day you're going home and coming back. But the perception here is, I'm working for this company and my last working day is so-and-so. So the mind has fixated, that the conscious experience is fixated that this day I'm getting relieved from this company. It makes such a relief that, at last I'm leaving this company and I join another company. It is the same thing, actually. But I feel means the consciousness then perceives that company to be a better place, so it gets established there while it is getting de-established here. So when the person resigns in this company, he'll stop working. Because, he's already resigned. So he's just coming here, sitting and enjoying, and goes for 5 times coffee and tea, and he's just going here, there, chatting, and the manager is tense that this idiot we have to serve, we have to pay him for the next 3 months, and he's not working. And if they say anything, he'll say that, I've already resigned. If you want, you can relieve me tomorrow. I'm okay with it. But the contract says 90 days. So just end up doing whatever you're doing. And whenever the manager sees, he'll be working. And after that, he'll be watching YouTube videos, let's say. Okay. Because as per him, the subject is same, object is removed. So there's no experience of that company which he was working. Let's take a scenario. The company terminates him. He's shocked. Why? Because he wanted to work. The object remains, but the subject is removed. So the contact is cut. So now the second approach of termination, because the object is there, the subject is removed, there is a painful feeling. Like layoff, right? I come in the morning and then I'm working, and then my boss says that, Vilas, can I speak to you for a minute? Okay, yeah, what happened? Yeah, have a seat, and I think we need to talk something. Why? What happened? No, nothing happened. You just sit. So I'm tense already. Oh, what happened? because my perception is what he's going to say. Yeah, Vilas, I've got to expand the company and all that, and give me some bullshit thing. And then I say, okay, tell me what's the point, and say that, yeah, you know what, we tried fixing you in this team, and you were too overqualified, and we tried putting you in this team, you're underqualified, and then we didn't have a choice. So, no, so what? We are laying you off, and we are sorry. I mean, we did our best to retain you. Can I have a glass of water? No, you can even have tea if you want. And then I sit there, what next? Because the object is there, the subject is removed. It's harsh. And then I ask, what next should I do? No, nothing. You just have to leave your laptop, go to second floor, just drop your laptop, your salary will get credited. Don't worry. Have any questions to us? No, why I was laid off? No, that's a business decision. I mean, that I don't have to answer now. But any other you have? No, can I stay here for some time? No, you can't. I think you have to go home. Or wherever you want to go. Then I'm looking here, there. I don't know what else to be done. Can I meet to my friends? No, you can call them later, but at present. And that's it. Right? Now this is object being there, the subject is removed. Whereas the other cases, I resign, I have fun time with my company. Okay? Not working a single given day, just taking salary and enjoying my life. And I sit in the library, or sit there, or sit here, and go to the... And if they ask me, why are you doing this? I say, I already resigned. Okay, now what to do? I'm on a notice period. This is how the consciousness feeds on. So it feeds on whatever is given. So if you give it that this is the perception you create, it feeds on that perception, and then you start experiencing. So when I say cash flow, you start experiencing cash flow. When you say I'm having loss, you start experiencing loss. When I say I lost my job, I start experiencing loss of job. When I say I'm getting promoted, I start experiencing I'm getting promoted. But it's all fake. It's absolutely, there's nothing in there. So this kind of consciousness is what is established consciousness, is established on name and form. That means what you've described, that is the cash flow and this and that, and how this is on the object, what is landing on the object. So I as a subject, meaning eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind as a subject, taking the object as in whatever I just now spoke, if you add together, the conscious experience is what makes you to do volitions, which is fabricated. It's not real. Yes, go ahead.
And I guess the volition is toward the direction of maximizing pleasurable feelings.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's the whole idea. See, the idea of growth versus idea of decline. The decline means you feel pinched, you feel pained, right? Health-wise also. If somebody tells you, you look young, it's because you get the sukha vedana. There's a real pleasant feeling instantaneously, as opposed to somebody saying you're pretty sick. I don't know what's happening to your health. And then, I've been seeing doctors lately and blah, blah. So the voice itself, the person goes down. And if somebody says you're pretty healthy, the voice increases because the consciousness now takes that as an object. Right? That's an object. Health is an object for the consciousness. And then it starts eating it. It starts enjoying it. So there's a relishing, which is sukha. And if the health is not there, there's a pain is there, and then that is treated as dukkha. So there's a, what I can say, a painful situation. So Now the consciousness would like to get rid of that pain by making it pleasurable. So to make it pleasurable, somebody has to put a new perception. Guess what? I went to a doctor who did a wrong diagnosis and said, I'm sick. I go to another doctor who says, hey, come on, you are a healthy guy. Who told that you're sick? My perception is changed. That's what I was thinking. So this doctor, in my perception, is a bad doctor. And this doctor, in my perception, is a very good doctor because he made me healthy. And he made me sick. Yes, go ahead.
So in the first case, it's domanassa, mental pain, right? But when the perception changed, this mental pain get removed. So can you say the removal of domanassa, equals somanassa? Because removal.
Yes, that's what. No? When you remove the domanassa, it turns into somanassa or upekha. So the question comes that when this doctor told me, Vilas, you're having blah, 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 all of these problems. And then I go to this doctor. And this doctor says, which doctor told you that you're sick? On which side are you sick? I'm first in upekha, equanimity. I'm not able to believe what he's saying. Then he says, you don't have any problems. Sure, yeah. It's a wrong diagnosis. I can't believe still. He says, yeah, you're fine to go. Fine to go. Am I healthy? Yeah, perfectly healthy. Now that domanassa went into upekha and became somanassa, now I come back and tell my wife, I knew it. I was like this, blah, 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 all that, right? But actually it's a bullshit thing. It's just the object called sickness, here object called health. The consciousness fed onto the sickness and starts feeling sick. And let's say the consciousness now started feeding onto health. And that's the reason in every packet worth the name, they put healthy drink, healthy food. Why? To give you somanassa. Because nobody knows what is health, honestly. So you just put there like organic food. What do you mean organic? All these years it was inorganic? No, they say adding pesticide is inorganic. So I had to come and ask them, what's the difference between organic and inorganic? Organic means which has carbon. Inorganic means it doesn't have, it has all other chemicals apart from carbon. So organic chemistry means it's carbon based and inorganic chemistry means non-carbon based. So what are you talking? And since I know chemistry, these people will be seeing stars because they are changing the perception by making it organic means good, inorganic means bad. But on business, they say organic is slow growth, inorganic is good. So you can keep on playing with these words. Then I come to a business executive meeting talking to the CEO and saying that we have to have an inorganic growth. I can say carbon or non-carbon. He's going to say, Vilas, please quit and go. Because he can't make out what I'm saying. Because I'm talking like a chemist or a chemistry person. So what should I do? This kind of person, you speak in a language which makes sense to him. So his consciousness starts feeding on that. With this kind of person, you start giving him on that kind of conscious experience. So he starts feeding on that. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not feeding on anything. And hence Nibbana. So there's no sankhāra, there is no perception, there's no feeling. I got rid of all the three. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, you wanted to ask me something.
No, earlier I was thinking you could legalize that also, that perception. You can make it a law. You have to perceive this way.
Every perception is a law. You tell me which perception is not a law. In US, you have to drive right. In UK or in English countries, you have to drive left. Okay, I'll give you another one. In telecom, we used to have a huge issue. It's called E1T1 networks. Okay, E1 is a standard of Europe. T1 is also a standard, but it is American standard. Now, the networking equipment for configuration of an IP address is based upon the nodes, nothing to do with E1T1. But Americans want in another way, right? So you need to bend yourself to American way of doing things. So then you have to base it on a T1 network instead of E1 network. So between a topology of an European network and an American network, a network is a network. It's just a network. It's a LAN on a wider area network. So you just connect the nodes and it just give an IP addressing, and then on the system, you just change the variables, whatever you would like to call it as, and it works. But you have to change the perception. If I talk to an American, I have to talk on T1 network. If I talk in European, I have to talk on E1 network, even though both are same. The technology-wise, they both are same. But for an European, talking on T1 is no. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I have. It reminds me of a funny story which George, my ex-manager, told me a few weeks ago. He said he after he came to America, because he is fresh from India, so she had still have the India habits. And then when you nod, he did like this, right? So when a professor or someone was giving a talk on the front row, the whole session he's doing this. So he was approving, but the professor or someone thought he was disapproving, so got really mad at him for several months. Until one day, some other professor was talking, these Indian students are very hard to deal with. You don't know whether they're nodding or... So this person started thinking, oh, so all that time you were nodding? And he said, yeah, that's what I was doing. He said, oh, I didn't know. I thought you were so disliking my course for so long. So that changed.
Yeah, that's a perception, right? So the basis of perception is object-subject identification, which is fabricated from the beginning. So that means you can change the perception to anything, from being this healthy drink to an unhealthy drink, to a healthy way of living to unhealthy way of living, just by changing the title. And your perception changes. So every brand will put a healthy drink, even though you might not know what is healthy. Like Veena gave a lot of food grains. Every grain they have given that on the wrapper, it says organic. Now, if you ask her, are you eating organic? That means carbon. Actually, honestly. And if you say inorganic, it is non-carbon based. And food is carbon. So what's the point in putting organic on something which is already organic? But she bought paying more money for organic, which is carbon-based. She's laughing when she gave me that packet after they both left, Mrityunjay and Veena. I was laughing to my heart. What a fool way of fooling the perception. Just put the sticker, say that it is organic, and people will buy it because it's organic. In the same way, you put fastest growing company, people will join that company because it's fastest growing. Which way, I don't know. It's fastest growing. We are number one. In what, I don't know. Just put, we are number one. Right? So This perceptions is what makes you jump. If you didn't do that, then there's no contact. If there is no contact, there is no choices or volitions. And that's the end of suffering. Because consciousness is stilled. So you can be in ninth jhana in an instant. So when I sit in the plane, that's what I exactly do. Cut out all the 5 of them. Economy class is a perception. But what is true is your thing touching the seat, irrespective economy, first class, business class, premier economy, all of that is perceptions. Airplane is an airplane. Doesn't matter. It's, you have to sit in a particular place. That's it. You can't do anything more than that. So the concept is sold on the comfort. And the comfort is still a perception. How comfortable are you is a perception. So if you know there's nothing called as comfort as discomfort, it's just the same, then the perception is gone. And without perception, there can't be any feeling. And feeling and perception going out is Nirodha Samapatti. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm thinking in this case, because in the business class, you can lie down, right? So bodily, there's also sukha. Let's say you're having some pain.
Yeah,
pain.
so some body pain. Right now, what I can do is, I can just take a small walk. It does basically the same. The blood will start flowing. And that's it. That doesn't mean that I shouldn't take business class or the first class or whatever class. It just means that there's nothing called as a comfort. It's basically just the body being there in whichever posture. So there's no perception of comfort. So there's no feeling of comfort. So if there is a perception of comfort, then comes a feeling of sukha. Because there's a feeding. Like you got me a premier economy, right? And Shaniel has got me a business class, right? So now the Australian tour is on business class, as opposed to going on economy class. If I keep economy and look at the business class, the perception is suffering, right? And you can see these people are enjoying more than me, so suffering. If I'm on first class or business class, and then I see people on economy, it gives me tremendous mana, vanity or ego, that, look, you know what, I'm flying business class and these guys, they're flying by this. But actually, it's just an airplane going to the same destination, taking the same amount of passengers, their just seats are different. But actually, there's nobody flying, anyone is flying ahead of these people sitting back seats just because he's in a business class. And he's taking the same toilet, irrespective whether he's taking from the back or the front. So if you see like that, the perception is not there. And when the perception is not there, there's no feeling. So when there's a feeling and perception is not there, you are in Nibbana. Then your system is shut down. So there's no exhaustion. Anyway, that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow on the next. Any questions before we close? Bobby? By now, I think Bobby has left his perception and feeling.
Thank you, Vilas. All good.
Yeah, all good, and carefully drive back to Brisbane from that place, because if you lose perception, then you can't feel you're still in Brisbane or not.
Yes, I will. I still have perception anyway. It's not gone.
Yes, correct.
The car will stop because the sankhāra becomes samatha.
Sajal, Bobby, you are in the same mall where we had gone to the Baker's Delight?
Yeah, same place.
Same place, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. Good day, good afternoon, and good evening. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.